يا راغبا في كل علم نافع.
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية
زاد أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن. وتعلم الفقه الميسر عاملا بالشرع دون تعصب لفلان. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهداه. أما بعد. Utensils or al-aniyah. It is a chapter found in the books of Fiqh or jurisprudence. And it's found after mentioning the types of waters, pure and impure. The question is, why? And the logical answer would be because the water is always carried by a container. And this is why we have to know whether the container that carries the water has any impact on its purity or not. Generally speaking, the vast majority of containers that kept water at the time of the Prophet ﷺ and afterwards were skin waters. So any container made of skin, we have to look into this skin. Was it tanned or not? Was it from a halal animal or a haram animal? Because if it was from pig's skin, immediately anything we put in it, it's najis. Dog's skin, lion's skin, haram animals, we cannot use their skin, and it's najis. What about if it were from cows, camels, and sheep? Well, we have to look into whether it was tanned or not, as it's an issue of dispute. And the most authentic opinion is, if it was slaughtered in a halal way, then the hide, I think it's called, the skin is pure, whether tanned or not. If it was a dead cow or a sheep, the skin is najis until it's tanned. Once it's tanned, it becomes pure to use. This is why scholars spent a lot of time discussing these things, and we will take this in a more lightly way, inshallah. So when we want to talk about utensils, they also mention the permissibility of using such utensils. So any type of utensils, whether made of precious stones or of metals, etc., they're permissible to use. The prohibition is only restricted to gold and silver utensils, where the Prophet ﷺ said that do not drink in golden or silver utensils, and do not eat in its plates, because it is for them in this world, that is for the disbelievers, and to us on the day of judgment. And also the hadiths that warns that those who drink in silver utensils, that they will drag their guts in hellfire. May Allah protect us all. All of these indicate that it is totally prohibited to eat or drink using gold or silver utensils, whether it's spoons, forks, knives, plates, or any other type of utensils, whether this is for men or for women, they're all alike. Now, in the past, they used to weld some of their utensils with gold or silver. So what's the ruling on that? Using gold is totally prohibited, even for welding a small crack in your utensils. Using silver to close this gap is permissible due to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that he had a cup that broke and he welded it with some chain of silver. Now, as we are discussing the issue of purity, let's assume someone has water in a huge bucket of silver or gold, and he performs wudu of it or from it. Is his wudu considered to be valid? It's an issue of dispute. However, logically speaking, it is valid because it has nothing related to the purity of the water. The action is sinful, but using water from such gold or silver utensil is not impacting the validity of the wudu. Okay, coming back to the issue of utensils. Can we use utensils that belong to the disbelievers? And the answer is, there's no problem if it is pure and has no najasa in it. In the hadith of Jabir, may Allah be pleased with him, he says that we used to go on expeditions with the Prophet ﷺ, and as part of booty of war, we used to gain and collect utensils from the disbelievers and the enemies of Islam, and we used to use them, and nobody said anything about it, which meant that the Prophet approved using such utensils that belong to the disbelievers. So as long as it's pure and clearly pure, there's no najasa on it, then there's no problem in using it. The problem is when we are doubtful. They may have consumed intoxicants or pork or dead meat. In this case, we wash it thoroughly until we're certain that there is no impurity in it, and then we can use it. Because when the Prophet was asked about a similar situation, alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, if you can find something else, then do not eat from them. But if you cannot find anything else, then wash them and eat from them, meaning the utensils. So it all goes back to, or goes down to, whether there is an impurity or not. And you can cascade this to everything. I live in a campus with non-Muslims. Can I use the microwave? Well, we look at the microwave. Is there any impurity in it that may impact negatively the food that you use? If it's going to get in direct contact with impurities, then the answer is no. And you go on and on and on until you feel satisfied that it is pure, clean, I've washed it thoroughly, then you can use that without any problem. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
يا راغبا في كل علم نافع.
ينمو العلم ويتقدم بتقنياته ومجالاته، ومعه نطور أدواتنا في تقديم العلم الشرعي. أكاديمية زاد
أكاديمية ينبوعها صاف ليروي غلة الظمآن. وتعلم الفقه الميسر عاملا بالشرع دون تعصب لفلان. بشرى لنا زاد أكاديمية للعلم كالأزهار في البستان.